fucking podcast.
Hey there, it's me, Juju. Before I even start this episode, I just want to say this one was a bit of a fail on the tech side for my part. I somehow messed up both close cameras, so what was meant to be 3 cameras is now 1 camera. But the conversation is still great, and I could have reshot it, but I wanted it to feel authentic. I didn't want it to feel like we reran through a script. So stick with me. Let's get into it. Okay, anyway, hello.
All right, hi, how's it going?
Hello. Okay, I'm gonna do a little intro and then to you, I guess. All right, we are back with another episode of Juju's Jungle. Life's wild, let's talk about it. Today, I am joined with a very special guest. One of, maybe my first friends in LA that I still like.
I'm wondering.
That was so bad. Why did I say that?
It's because I'm really from LA.
Anyway, and Stephanie. Pew pew. Introduce yourself. Tell us a couple things.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, and I'm one of Juju's real friends from LA.
It's actually kind of crazy that you were raised here, because I feel like I don't actually know anybody that was born here.
Born in Yes, I came out my mama's coochie in Tarzana, California.
Wow.
In the valley, the Great One Ain't. Been here my whole life.
All right, let's talk about how we met. Where we met for the first time. We definitely met through Marty.
Yeah, we met through Marty. Marty was my neighbor.
I was gonna say, how did you meet Marty?
I had a friend that worked with me at Viola. His name was Chad. And right.
Poor guy.
Sorry, Chad. And he was friends with Marty and Gerald. Is that his name? Yeah.
So Marty just pulled up to Viola one day. That's how you guys
No,
met.
actually, Chad was like, he lives by you. I was like, really? Where? And one day I was on my balcony, and I was like, just, being a weirdo on my balcony. I actually used to tan out there,
which is funny.
Yeah.
From what that balcony was.
And I looked, and I was like, oh, there's some guy sitting on his balcony, diagonal from me. And then I found out that that's where Marty lived.
I don't know why we never got a drone or something to pass messages back and forth or something.
We actually talked about setting up a wire,
string, a pulley system. That would be so sick.
But there was this weird tree that grew really weird, and then they started building a complex right across, so it kind of
But it's also a half a mile from your apartment, actually.
Yeah.
It just happens to be.
Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to go to Home Depot and buy an entire cable or of some sort.
That would be kind of sick, though.
Yeah, but there was several times where I just walked to Marty's house, or he just walked to mine.
It's kind of crazy that we all ended up in the same. I mean, you moved now, but for a while we were all kind of in the same area.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Hey, come with me to my friend Juju's," and I was like, "Okay." And then you lived on the other side of him. I was like, "This is great."
Yeah. I feel like we met for the first time at a Viola party.
Yeah, I think he brought you to a party. He actually brought me to your house one day, and we picked you up. And there was some other girl that was in the car that was probably sleeping with him at the time. I don't know if you remember that. That was actually the first time I met you, and she was in the car.
Where'd we go?
Talking about how she's really big off of vibes and whatever. And I remember just being in the car in the front seat, and I kind of just was like, oh, this is gonna be a long fucking night. But when she said yeah, I'm just really big on people's energy and their vibes, you chuckled in the back, and I was like, I think I might like this friend. I don't know about the vibes chick, but
yeah, I feel
she didn't last very long. I think that was the last time we saw her, actually.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
there was of them for a little bit there, I feel like. But my dad always said, if you have to say it, it's not true.
Right.
So bitch, You're the wrong vibe.
Yeah.
I don't even remember, and I can already tell you she was the wrong vibe.
Anybody who tries to tell me that my vibe is off, I'm like, no, there's something wrong with you.
My vibe's great, okay?
Fuck you.
I got a good fucking vibe.
I'm very vibey.
But actually, when we first met, you did not love me, and
I don't like anybody. In disclaimer, I just don't like people.
I have come to learn this about stuff, and it's true. But you like me now, I think.
I do. I like Juju.
I think so.
Juju gave me my green thumb, sort of.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Houseplants.
You got me into houseplants for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now my house is like too planty.
I'm coming to steal some.
Yeah, I need to sell them.
Okay, so you were born in LA.
Born in LA.
Raised. And your parents
Raised in the valley.
were not from here. They came from
Nope.
Canada first?
So my dad was born in Istanbul, Turkey, and my mom was born in Lebanon. Bing, bang, boom, always some kind of war going on in the Middle East. Both families fled their countries, ended up in Montreal, Canada. That's where they met.
How old were both your parents when they went to Canada? Yeah.
My mom was 3, and my dad was a teenager, like early teens.
Interesting. Did they both go for like asylum? Is that
Pretty
how
much
they
just
did the thing?
Get the hell out of the Middle East.
Yeah, but isn't it easier to get citizenship if you're going, and it's easier to go through Canada than the U.S.? Why'd they go to Canada?
And that's just where everybody ended up. Like,
That's
that's
where
where the
people
boat
were
dogs
just
like.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Canada's nice.
Yeah,
I love
still have
Canada.
family out there.
I love Canada.
It's really pretty.
You guys have like farmland out there, right?
Yeah, there's.
Why don't you tell me about
one of my
horses?
aunts like lives on a farm. She's got like horses and dogs and chickens and
Horses and dogs.
And then my other aunt, she has her own place. My cousins have their own places. It's pretty cool.
Okay, that's fire.
Yeah.
Wait, but then, so your parents moved to Canada, and then when did they come to the U.S.?
My dad came out here first, fell in love with the beach, and
As we
then
all do.
basically convinced my mom to come out here, and she never went back.
But so they have U.S. citizenship?
No, they do, yeah.
They have, and Canadian? I remember you telling me you could have both.
I have dual citizenship.
How?
It's not, I don't think it's possible anymore. I think they stopped it like after like 88 or 89. But I have dual citizenship, so when shit pops off here.
I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
I've been to Canada twice now, and both times I was like, I'm really into it. And I'm
Yeah.
into the people.
They're cool.
They're cool and they're authentic. I feel like, okay, so Toronto, I've been to Vancouver and Toronto, both.
Very cool.
I feel like Toronto was like LA, but not US whitewashed.
Yeah.
So it was like in the same way, like a boiling pot of people, but people were like still true and authentic to their cultures. Whereas here, I feel like
Super.
people come to the US and like assimilate into whatever
Yeah.
our fucking culture is.
That's pretty spot on.
But I was in love with it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Everybody's being themselves. I love it here.
Yeah, Toronto's pretty cool. Good looking people.
Yeah. Where's Montreal? In the between those two?
It's like closer toward New York-ish. Toronto's more like, it's not like center.
I was like, wait, I thought
but
Toronto was by New York.
No. You can get to Toronto driving from Michigan, actually, like Detroit, or
Okay, yeah. That
What
makes
was that
sense.
fucking
It's like,
city?
pop.
I should remember that city. It's where I got pulled over. But it's like a little city that you can like cut through and get to Toronto. And then it's like a several hour drive east from Toronto to hit Montreal.
We should look into buying a house as a gang of people in Canada to be ready. And let's just make sure we can build a basement.
Yeah.
You down?
I'm down.
I really wanted to move to an island. I've always wanted to move to an island, but I've come to the realization that's the worst place to fucking live if shit goes down.
It just kind of depends on like the structure of your home on the island.
Yeah, but what if the whole damn island goes down?
You have like an underwater escape route.
Well, that's where the aliens live.
Do they live down there?
I think the aliens live underwater underneath islands.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure there are other places as well, but I think that's a hub.
Probably. I mean, I feel like everywhere on this planet could be a hub.
Yeah. Are you an alien?
I might be.
Which I might be. Okay. What was young Steph like? Like grade school, middle school? Good kid, rebellious kid?
I was a good kid because I had foreign parents and they're terrifying.
That's it.
That's it.
You were just terrified of
No,
them.
I was a first generation, first one born in my family. Like, I'm like the first grandchild. I'm like the holy grail.
Was that a lot of pressure to be like the first one to maybe like really have
yeah,
a shot?
It was all eyes on me, pretty much. But yeah, for the most part, I was a pretty good kid. I just had a mouthpiece, and I was too smart for my own good.
So
And,
nothing's changed.
What?
So nothing's changed. So you're the same bitch.
Yeah, I was the kid that was always like, but why? And then if someone gave me a reason that absolutely made no sense, or if I knew the actual truth, I'd be like, actually, that's not right.
Yeah.
And just check adults. But in my culture, like, that's not okay. Like, you're to shut the fuck up and
Do as you're told. Makes sense.
So depending on who you ask, I was either a menace or the good kid.
At school, you were like the good kid.
I was
and
the
then
good
you
kid
would like.
until like high school.
And then what happened?
I think I discovered my own like power and my voice, and I just didn't really take shit from anybody. And then when I was a junior, my sister was a freshman, and I remember like someone was like bullying her. That's when I really discovered that I could fight.
I was gonna say, was there like one situation you can remember where it like snapped, where you're like, nah, I'm not listening to people anymore. I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah. I pretty much beat the shit out of this girl. It was what it was. I didn't care.
Tell me more.
I don't know, this girl yapping away. And I was like, all right, I'm done listening to you. And I broke
At
it.
your sister, though. Mm-hmm. And you're just not having it.
No.
And from that day forward, you're like, I will not take no shit.
No.
People are probably like, what happened to Stephanie overnight? Did you play sports in high
did.
school? What'd you play? I didn't.
I started running track when I was in 4th grade. My teacher suggested it to my parents because I had too much energy. And, like, their nephew was a track coach. I think it was, like, a ploy to, like, I don't know, get somebody else to sign up for this.
That's kind of crazy. How do you have curves as a runner?
Yeah, I was
Because
pretty
you got
thick.
that ass.
I think, actually, it probably toned my butt, if anything, running. I did hurdles, so from 4th grade to high school.
And then college, you said, fuck sports, I'm going to be a baker.
Sort of. So in high school, I fucked up my knee pretty bad. And I just didn't run senior year, which obviously took away like scholarship opportunities.
Did you do like the ACL tear that everybody does, or what?
It was just a terrible, like, when you do the same movement from like 8 years old to basically a senior in high school, and I mean like every day. Like,
yeah, there
was no break. Sports, like track, really did save my life. Like otherwise, I probably would be like a super menace. But I was focused, like kept me in line for grades.
That's the great thing about sports.
Yeah,
like they definitely have downfalls, but keeping people on a schedule, discipline.
But like once I stopped running, it was like I'm really bored, and now I'm starting to get into a little trouble. I went to junior college at Moore Park, and I also went to the Cordon Bleu. And I got
she did.
Got into baking, and Yeah, that was my college.
You didn't bake before that? Like, what? I feel like that's so specific to want to go to college for. Like, most people don't know what the fuck they want to do, and they're like, all right, I'm just going to go to do whatever.
Full, like, truth be told, I was literally sitting and watching TV one day, and my dad walked in and was like, you decide what you want to do. And there was a commercial for the Cordon Bleu, and I was really artsy, and I saw these, like, elaborate cakes and stuff, and I was like, I'm going to go there.
That's it.
That was literally it.
A commercial.
Yeah. I just wanted to get them off my back.
I also feel like that's, like, shows from something I know about you is that, like, if you say you're going to do some shit, you just do it.
Yeah.
And that's, like, so random, but you're like, I'm going to do it, and then you did it.
That's literally what happened.
Did you immediately love baking? Or, like...
I loved, like, the design aspect of things. Like, the actual, like, flavors and whatever. Yeah, it was cool. It was kind of like being, like, a little chemist, but it was, like, after it came out of the oven, like, the fondant and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Sugar blowing and, yeah.
You blowing sugar? Ooh. I love to cook.
Yep.
But I hate baking. Like, baking is way too precise for me. I want to be able to, like, throw shit in, put some spices on it, know how to do it right to make it taste good. Baking's like you put a little bit too much flour in it and you don't got nothing.
It, like, explodes.
Yeah, literally. You got a deflated fucking cake.
Yeah. I think, especially, like, growing up the way that I did, it's like a good quality and a bad quality, but because I'm such a perfectionist about things, like, baking really helped me just, like, hone in. And I just got really good at
makes sense
playing with things in the kitchen.
And then what day did you decide to try to throw some infusion into that?
In college, I was dating a guy, and he had friends who were all stoners. They're like, hey, like, you should make weed brownies. I was like, I don't know how to fucking do that. Okay. So I just started, like, messing around, and before you knew it, I was making brownies, lollipops, cakes, Rice Krispies, eclairs.
Ooh, yum. Did you smoked in, like, high school or never? When was the first time you smoked?
I was 20.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. I was, like, 14.
Yep. All my friends in high school smoked. They all drank. But, again, I had terrifying parents. So...
wouldn't even try it?
No. Plus, like, when I tell you, like, sports really kept me in line. It was... like, no one could tell me shit when it came down to, like, track or anything. I have my high school record still for hurdles. Like, I was that bitch.
That's sick.
Yeah. Like, the mean varsity girl, not like the...
Oh, of course. I mean, of course. Don't look at me. Yeah. Matter of fact.
Yeah. Remember in, like, Bring It On, there was, like, the dark-haired girl and then the blonde? Mm-hmm. I was definitely the dark-haired girl.
I'm Big Red. Big Red was the bitch, right?
I definitely wasn't Big Reddish. I was more, like, the tomboy, like...
I used to love those movies.
Yeah. That was me.
Can't think of what her name was. Okay, so you start infusing.
I started infusing. I actually got kicked out of the Cordon Bleu.
Because you got caught?
I turned in the wrong batch of an item that I made. So, like, I would...
Wait, so you were making, like, double?
Yeah.
One regular, one... And were you using, like, were you using the college kitchen or whatever? How did it work?
At home. So... Okay. Class was at, like, 4 a.m. every day.
Okay.
And then I'd be done by, like, 10, 11 by the time I got home. I just burped, sorry.
I did too at the exact... You did? Wait, I did, and I was like, that was louder than I thought. But it must have been both of ours.
Whoopsie. Oh, I don't fart. And this is why I'm her remaining friend. No, I got kicked out of school because I took literally the wrong batch in, and as I was exiting the freeway, I got a phone call from somebody that was dispersing my infused stuff for me. And was like, hey.
Oh, that's how you found out because the ones weren't infused that needed to be.
It's like, hey, we sold them all out last night, but a couple people said they tasted really good, but like nothing happened. And I was just like, oh shit. No. And it was a Thursday. I didn't have class on Friday. The teacher didn't show up to class on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And then Thursday, basically I was called into like.
So you were just showing up to class every day, like just waiting.
Yeah.
For them to know. But how does it work? Like your classes, you would like get an assignment and go home and bake the assignment and then have to bring the assignment back into the classroom and then they would like grade it?
Or it just depended on like what it was. We'd make stuff obviously in class and whatever, but there was always homework assignments. And
well, that sucked.
Yeah, it's okay. The school ended up actually closing down.
Is it really?
Yeah, it doesn't exist in California anymore. I thought it was like a pretty
legendary culinary school, no?
It is, but it's only open now in like Europe, I think. Maybe New York, but...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why, do you know? Went bankrupt?
I think funding. I don't know. It was pretty expensive.
Well, college is expensive.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It was pretty expensive.
Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so you get... I don't know how we ended up just going from the beginning of your life to the end. This wasn't my plan, but I'm here now with it. Okay, so you get kicked out of school.
I get kicked out of school.
Did you even care because your other side business was like... How did you feel about it?
At the time, I didn't care. I think as I got a little bit older, I started to care because people were like, oh, where'd you graduate from? And in my mind, I'm like, I didn't graduate, but I always just went with it. Like, oh, I graduated from the Cordon Bleu. Like,
yeah. It
was like literally maybe 2 or 3 weeks away from graduation.
That's also so frustrating.
Yeah. I always told myself that I was like going to go back and finish, but...
Do you think that they like... behind closed doors, like, ran actual tests to ensure that
I think my teacher just was high as fuck, and it was, like, process of elimination at that point. Plus, back then, like, nobody was testing. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like, I probably was making, like, 300 milligram, like, one-bite brownies for all I knew, you know? And, I mean, you could smell it to some degree, especially when you, like, cut into something.
So you weren't like measuring, you were literally just fucking making whatever.
Making butter
selling
and
it for
oil
whatever.
and just like
that's
nothing
hilarious.
like how it's done today.
Yeah, in my mind you're like doing it like chemist style.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Measuring
fuck
exactly.
No. I used to take like the trimmings and put them in like a cheesecloth and then put them in my crock pot. And let it like simmer with oil.
With butter?
And butter. Yeah. And all kinds of things. And then after like a week of my apartment smelling like a full blown grow house, I would just take it out, throw the cheesecloth away.
Do it again.
Whatever the hell it was. Yeah.
One time my dad made me edibles and he put... I literally think he just fucking threw the stems. You know how you, like you were just saying, like how you make the butter first? He didn't like strain it out. Like there were actual sticks of the brownies. It was disgusting. He was like, this is how we do it in my day. I said, Dad.
Ouch. I'm like,
you deserve better than this, Dad.
That actually sounds terrifying. I don't know if I want to eat your dad's brownies.
He's better now. He got one of those ones that's like the... Have you seen it? I think on Amazon. It's like 2 stories in the water, and then you can't really fuck it up. And then you have butter.
Those are pretty cool.
You just use the butter. He's always got edibles in his fridge, though.
I feel like I'm a contributor to his habits.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Dad.
Anytime I need something like weed related of any sort, I'm like, Stephanie, my dad's asking for this. Now my dad wants seeds. Now my dad's pissed that the seeds weren't distinguished between female and male. Oh yeah, I think I just gave you a Ziploc bag of seeds one time. Yeah.
Here you go.
That was a while ago. And he also knows how to do it. Like he grew them and sexed them and grew plants just fine, but whatever.
Was that straight?
which is crazy. Beep. It was the beep. Since we're on the topic of weed, I was thinking about, like, I said I've been smoking since I'm 14, right? Which is crazy. But also I grew up in fucking Missouri. So I wasn't smoking good weed. I was smoking like dirt, either grown in Missouri or like maybe grown in Colorado, because that was the closest place, and then brought there. But anyway, when I moved to LA, I thought that I was a stoner. I was like, yeah, I smoke weed. I'm high every day. And then I moved to LA, and the first like 4 months, I was just slumped. Slumped. The weed here is so much stronger. But I also like knew nothing about weed that whole time I was smoking. I would just like buy whatever. I wouldn't go to like my local dealer and be like, what strains do you have? I was like, yeah, I'll take a 10 sack. Like, whatever it is, it is. Or maybe I'd like steal a couple nugs from my dad's stash. But I say all that to say, I feel like you've taught me a lot about weed. And I feel like the general public also knows absolutely nothing about weed. Like, I would say almost 90% of consumers like really don't know shit about weed. So do you have any ways that you can tell, like, I don't know, first like 30 seconds looking at weed if it's good or bad?
Absolutely.
Or like signs, like ways that people can like tell a difference when they're in the store to know like what they should and should not be buying?
A lot of the problem like today, especially in dispensaries, is you can't like touch the weed and you can barely smell it, to be honest with you, because they have these like testers that have been sitting out for 3, 4, 5 weeks, and it's been open, so like the nose is gone. The first way to indicate whether weed is good or not is the nose. And if you can't smell anything, the chances of you not getting high are very probable.
What should it actually smell like if it's good though?
It depends on the strain. Like if it's something that's like high in linalool.
I feel like people sometimes like think that terps make weed good, I guess is what I mean. Like, how do you tell the difference?
Well, they do.
but I feel like also brands use them just to cover up shitty weed, no?
Yeah. Brands use like, they'll add shit to weed to make it like, it's like fluff weed basically, to make it smell like a lemon or a strawberry, or, you know, like nothing fucking smells like a strawberry except for a strawberry. Like, you're not gonna pick up a nug and be like, oh, I feel like I'm walking through a strawberry field. Like, it may have like hints of it, but no, bro. Like, like some of the, I'm not gonna say names, but like some of these companies, they'll like spray their shit with extra terps, and it's like, you open the jar and you're like, oh my god, I feel like I walked into Bath and Body Works.
Yeah. 100%, and then I sneeze immediately.
Yeah.
Or I'll light the little pre-roll and I sneeze immediately.
Yeah. And sometimes that's a good indicator if it's like outdoor weed too.
If you get the sneezies. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Dusty a little bit earthy.
Earthy?
Is there like, obviously nugs are different because the density varies and all that, but like is there a way to tell like by the nug like this shit's bad? Other than like mold, which is obvious, but like
you'd be surprised how many people don't know that they're smoking mold.
Explain.
Well, there's a lot of people that can't tell that like their weed is moldy.
Yeah. Does mold look different on weed, or do you think people just aren't like looking for weed
like,
on?
They don't know like what to look for. They think it's like frosty, or like when you break it open, it's like, oh, look at all the crystals. It's like, actually, my guy, that's mold. Like,
I'll never forget one day, I like still didn't know you that well yet, but I was in the Viola office with you, and you were like, I think we were testing dabs, and you were
sounds
like,
about right.
hold on, like I have a quick meeting. And I like watched you walk into that big boardroom that had all the windows, and you like walked in with a bag. There was a guy there, he had bags, and you like pull out a nug, you like snap one in half, and I can hear you. I couldn't like really hear what you're saying, but I could hear you, and then you like walk out like 4 minutes later, and I was like, you're like, no, there's mold all over that. Yeah. Like immediately, like you snapped one nug in half, and we're like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't remember which farm it was, but like I was basically like Al's little hound dog when it came down to it, because people used to like pitch stuff to him all the time, And he was like, hold on, let me go get cakes. And we were doing an education that day. I do remember that day. I don't remember which
But it's wild
store
that
was
like
with us, but
not like if you weren't there, but I feel like there's I don't want to say majority because I don't know. I'm also just talking on my ass, but I feel like so many of the cannabis brands don't have people working for them that like genuinely know
what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah,
Not at all.
which is wild.
I say it all the time. I said it when I worked at Viola. I say it now, even being at like KK. Like, if you have never worked in weed before and you don't care to actually learn about anything and you just are here for like a paycheck, you shouldn't be here at all.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's more than it's more than just like, I'm trying to think, like,
It's medicine.
yeah, thank
It's
you.
literal medicine.
Thank you.
Like,
Yeah.
there is no other thing to say about it. It's weed is medicine.
Yeah.
And it needs to be treated like it's medicine and not just this recreational, oh, let's get high. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
And the people are fucking it up that like give it a bad rap and put all shitty things in it so people have bad highs.
yeah.
Because I feel like the only time I've had bad high from flowers is I've like smoked and been like, there was shit on that weed. Like it was pesticides or something, but like that weed was not clean.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who can't tell the difference between THC crystals and PM.
Yeah. Which is crazy. That's
Which
scary.
is also very scary.
Yeah.
Or
Also, how often do you think that like groweries, people growing, what do they call that?
cultivation.
Thank you. Like cultivations get a little PM and spray it down and then just sell those plants. Like that is.
No. Well,
Do you
there's
think
definitely been
orga-
instances where like people get their flower tested and it comes back and it's failed, and then they do things to it
to make it pass?
right.
That's crazy.
And to me, like, that's just not okay at all.
Like that shit needs to be thrown out. Sucks.
Yeah,
But
it not
that's
only needs to be
also-
thrown down, but
yeah.
like your room that plant grew in needs to be taken down, scrubbed, like HVAC's cleaned, the whole shebang. And a lot of people just don't do it.
But the same goes probably with the majority of the food we consume in the U.S. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm sure the same shit's happening. Like, a batch of apples goes bad with some shit. They spray
Apples
down,
aren't even
clean it
apples
up.
anymore. They like spray them with this wax stuff to make them last forever.
Yeah, my apple that I bought a week ago should not still be good on my counter.
No, not
Like,
at all.
it should start going bad as soon as it breaks off of the tree.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's most of our food in general, though. Like,
Absolutely.
what are we eating that's real? Actually,
Honestly,
mushrooms?
at this point, like, if you're not growing your own food, there's a high probability that you're just consuming shit
Yeah.
or GMOs.
Even like organic, like here's the thing. You got an organic farm and your next door neighbor doesn't have an organic farm. Our earth's connected. That soil's not organic.
Right.
There's probably no organic soil in the US. Like maybe Hawaii. Maybe Montana.
No, I don't know. Central America right now is like the highest count of cancer patients because of all the shit that they spray on like the potatoes and the onions and the whatever else they're growing out there.
In Central America?
Not well, like central US.
Okay.
Like middle America.
Oh, okay.
Did I say Central America?
Yeah. I was like, wait, where are they
No.
growing the potatoes?
That food is actually pretty clean.
I was like, sorry.
No, I'm talking
Okay.
like Idaho
Oh,
and like
yeah.
Nebraska
Okay. Yeah.
and all
Well,
that. I
but-
actually just read an article about, or Larry just showed me an article showing that like middle America has like the highest rate of cancer patients. And it's literally because all of our food is sprayed with chemicals.
Yeah.
It's
But
in the
also
air.
being from the Midwest, I think our diet is a lot worse.
Yeah.
A lot of like red meats. Yeah, being from the Midwest, I mean diet as well is just like, and
The American
cigarette
diet is a
smoking is
joke.
still so big.
Yeah.
All of it. But farmers doesn't surprise me with cancer. I feel like they're like absorbing the chemicals, all the time in the fields, just like dirty.
Yeah, I mean, they're spraying it and it's going into the air, and then we're all breathing it.
Well, and they're spraying it from planes. So, like, how accurate is that really?
Right.
It's crazy.
It's terrifying.
So what do we eat?
Well, don't look at the food pyramid that everybody taught us as children, because that is an absolute fucking lie. Actually, most of the food in America you just shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
If you go to the grocery store and you're looking at like labels on stickers, everything should start with a 9.
What do you mean? What part of it?
Like, you know, the like stickers that they put on like your fruits and vegetables?
Like where the barcode is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It should start with a 9.
What does that mean? I've never heard this.
It's organic. There's no pesticides. It, like the whole like
Gotcha.
It's supposed to be like the cleanest of clean.
Okay.
Is it? Who knows?
Right.
But that is like the
A 9.
end all be all. It's got to start with a 9.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
How have I never heard that before?
Gotta do your research.
Well,
Well.
I like to go to the farmer's market.
Yeah, I get a lot. Like, there was one point where I literally wouldn't get anything from anywhere unless it was a farmer's market.
Yeah.
Which is also terrifying because you then don't really know. Like,
but Carly bit into she called me, what was it? A Juju the other day. Have you ever had a Juju by the way?
no, it's definitely a genetically modified food.
Is it? I was Googling, I mean, it might not be called a Juju. No, I think it was. I don't remember. I was doing some Googling on it, and it seems like it's really good for brain health. But anyway, Carly got one from the farmer's market because we've been on this little Juju kick, and she bit into it, and there was a worm in it. And she was like, she called me, she was so upset. And I was like, that's incredible. I was like, alive, that means, I said, if a worm's eating it, that means it's good. That means it's edible.
Or that was the only thing for that worm to eat that day.
But that, I heard that, like, when you're shopping organic, or when you're shopping in general, but, like, you should look out for ones that have maybe, like, signs of bugs and things like that, because that means that it is more alive and less pesticide-y than other shit.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that too.
Yeah.
Insects can tell immediately if something has something wrong with it, and they'll stay away from it for the most part.
I wish I had that instinct.
Me too. Oh wait, I do. But you should stay away from genetically modified foods, which is like 90% of what is sold in America. Stay away from like a lot of the grains. There's very specific grains that I eat. I don't buy white flour. I'm a advocate for Dr. Sebi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love me some Dr. Sebi.
Me too.
I feel like our like healthiness is maybe like why we kind of actually bonded and became like real friends, because I'm into it.
Yeah.
And I'm into Sebi. I wholeheartedly believe his shit. And it makes sense. Like, it's not even like, sometimes people try to argue with me about food, and I'm like, I'm not going to argue with you about it, because I'm just telling you what it is. And it's the truth, and it's logical, and bye.
Right. I mean, between our love for weed and our love for taking care of ourselves and health, like, I feel like we bonded because I definitely taught you a lot about Sebi and just like healing in general. And
how did you hear about him for the first time?
I got diagnosed with cancer in 2016. I went through chemo and radiation despite like not wanting to go through it.
Yeah.
And then they said that I was cured. 3 months into remission, I got re-diagnosed, and they told me that they were going to start me on some new pill form of chemo, and I told the doctor to go fuck herself.
Yeah.
I went home, threw everything away. At that point, I had already like started researching Sebi like a little bit.
Was there like somebody who introduced you, or were you just like Googling like natural alternatives?
Yeah. I was like, when you go through chemotherapy and you get locked in a hospital for so long, you start to just like look at everything completely different. And I knew being locked in that hospital room that like, one, I was not supposed to be there. it was not going to be the end for me.
Yeah.
And 2, there has to be a better way of living. Like, this is not living.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, the World Wide Web gives you access to so many things and more that, most people, especially like in the medical field, they don't want you to know. Or
well, yeah, they wouldn't make any money.
Exactly. When I told my doctor that I was declining treatment, she asked me if I had a will. And then when I went in for my 3-month scans and there was not a single cancer cell on my PET scan, and she looked at me very perplexed. They actually made me do my scan twice.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because why would they? I mean, they would never believe that you could heal yourself with food. Like, yeah, right.
I told her to go fuck herself. Like, to her face.
Who needs a will now, bitch?
No, literally. I was like, do you have a will? You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And I walked out of the office, and I've never been back to that doctor
Matter
since.
of fact, you might want to have a will. Watch your back, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You're not kidding. Okay, so let's reverse that, though, because we just skipped
No,
stuff.
I threw everything in my apartment away, like, literally that day. And I went totally alkaline. No one knew that I went totally alkaline. I was still working at my job at Viola. And the only person that I told, and he figured it out fairly quickly, was my friend G. Because we have, like, this insane bond over pizza and pasta. And, like, I just like Italian food.
Yeah,
also,
yes,
probably
you do.
why we get along.
Yeah. She likes a little Italian.
And he noticed that I wasn't eating any of that. I was just eating literally avocados. Like,
which is crazy because I can't picture G eating a slice of pizza. I never known him as a person to eat pizza.
Right. So when he came over and he saw this like arsenal of different herbs that I had on my counter. I had like 17 different bottles of herbs, like shit that I still can't really like pronounce all the way. Mm-hmm. But I know what they do and like how your body functions on them and what they fix and whatnot. He was like, I'm not going to let you do this alone. And so he went alkaline with me. And G, I don't think has ever looked back since.
Yeah. Has he ever, since that day, had a non-alkaline meal?
Yeah, I think he's had like little things here and there, but every time he does, he'll text me and he's like, I fucking regret doing this.
Yeah.
Like,
he took like one shot of tequila with us in
one
Mexico,
time,
and I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we did take shots, and both him and I were sick as fuck.
Dude, the Mexico trip is a whole story.
I hate Teslas.
Like,
I will never get into a Tesla again.
I blame
the
user
driver.
error. I blame user error on that shit. Okay, so Steph convinces me, not even convinces me, she didn't have to convince me, I was down as fuck. But Steph's friend G that we're talking about is a DJ.
He's really, really good.
I don't even like house music, and I would listen to
House
him
music
DJ
all
for
night long.
15 hours straight.
Yeah.
He's so incredible. But he was doing a gig in Mexico, and we're like, yeah, let's go for the weekend. This sounds like a great idea.
Yep. So we got into my friend Feldman, who worked with me at Viola at the time, Tesla, only to find out more than halfway there that he did not bring the charger with him.
Yeah, first off, leaving LA did not start the Tesla with a full charge, which is mistake number one. Like, we didn't even make it to San Diego before we were having to stop for a charge. Like, I don't even got a Tesla, and I know to be more prepared than that. And then we finally made it into Mexico.
Fuck. We did. We made it into Mexico.
But then we
couldn't find a fucking charger to save our lives.
Yeah.
Found one charger, but it was not a supercharger.
Mm-hmm. It charged like a mile an hour or something.
It was something
insane.
crazy.
But we couldn't find the Airbnb at first, and we were like driving in circles, and then Feldman was like, well, I have to charge the Tesla. So we're like, okay.
Yep.
Go charges it. Finally found the Airbnb, which was really cool, but like a little sketchy.
Yeah, that Airbnb was sketch as fuck.
But kind of cool. And like I might get murdered in Mexico because there's not a single door in this place.
Yeah,
kind of
pretty much. Witnessed the craziest accident. You don't remember in the middle of the night?
Oh, it came over the bridge.
Yeah,
I totally forgot.
Drunk driver went flying off the bridge in front of our Airbnb and like basically decapitated himself.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I didn't.
I mean, it was such an eventful trip.
And then after seeing that, we get to G's DJ gig and we're just dancing on mushrooms the entire time on the beach.
That place he was played at was cool. What was that?
Yeah, it was really cool.
Was it a
have
hotel?
No idea. I have no clue.
It was like a hotel, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to even remember what it looked. Those little pinkies. Oh, we had the pinkies. The pinkies make my brain warm. Like, kind of like silos, like in such a good way. They're like a cozy hug to my brain.
It's like the Limitless pill meets Euphoria.
How many
pinkies did we eat that day? No idea. No idea.
And we like thought they weren't working. We thought they weren't working, so yeah, it got really macro
at first, and then we ended up just rolling around on the beach for like 8 hours.
I've hardly eaten fish since that day because the mushrooms started hitting me, and I ordered fish tacos, which I normally love a fish taco, but my fish were talking to me. I could feel that I was trying to swallow the bite, and I could feel the heartbeat of the fish. It was so traumatizing. And it was at this moment that we lost audio. I still don't have an explanation, but I did luckily have a microphone set up onto main camera in case something like this happened. So we didn't fully lose the audio. It's a little different. I tried to match it. I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, let's get back in. Oh, we didn't even get to the worst fucking part about it yet. Fuck the fact that I can't eat fish anymore. On the way back, okay, so we're leaving. This is like the next day, right? We check out of our Airbnb. Somehow, why did he also not leave his car at that charger for longer?
I don't know.
Do you remember? Like, was there a reason, or why the fuck did we not have a charged car?
I don't know. Honestly, I think he thought like Mexican cartel was like gonna steal his Tesla or something.
So we get ready to cross the border. Also, if you cross the border in a car, you know that like even on a good day, it takes at least an hour, I would say. Like, it takes a minute to get through, just stand like waiting in line, not the actual process, but just the line. We had like, I'm making this up, but maybe like 20%, 20 miles left.
We were in line to cross the border, and there was so much traffic, we had to get out of the line and go back and find that charger. And
charge some more. And we like, he got lost. We were like driving in circles.
We barely made it over the border after like being in traffic for, I think like maybe 7 hours. And we had to call the tow truck at like...
Yeah, we had like 1 mile left, and we're like pulling up to the border thing, and I'm like, okay, 1 mile, 1 mile, 1 mile. We get across the border, just out of like, thank God, like the region where we would have probably been like bombarded by cops if we had ran out. But we're like, just get to the highway, and
I feel like we were like getting on the highway and the car died.
We made it. We made it, but he took himself, I shouldn't even say took us, he took himself and his Tesla with us inside of it to a charger that wasn't for Teslas. And that's when it died. We made it to a charger, but it wasn't a charger for Teslas.
Then we had to wait for a tow truck. The tow truck came, couldn't put the car on the tow truck because Tesla has, apparently you need like a specific type of tow truck.
Yeah, they brought the wrong type of tow truck.
So then we waited another, I don't know, maybe another hour. I think I might have got like a smoothie or something.
And I feel like the charger was literally just like on the other side of the parking lot. Yeah. Like he just went to the wrong.
We had to get towed to the other charger. And then while the car was charging, we ate dinner. And then we had a 4.5-hour ride back home.
Yeah. I wish I didn't love, like, the weirdest thing is that, like, I wasn't even mad at Feldman for some reason. Like, I don't know why. Because he's a fucking idiot. And the car should have been charged. But I was, like, not even mad.
I think I was at that moment where I was like, I'm never going to be a Tesla owner.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. And definitely never taking them on a road trip. What's crazy is I still went, after that trip, I took a Tesla to Austin, Texas.
No.
I just want to cause
I think the
myself
only Tesla that I've
misery.
been in since that trip is like Marty's, and we went to downtown LA and came back.
Yeah, they're great for cities. I think they're great for cities. For the kind of driving that Marty does, like, he charges his car maybe once a week. Like, he's just doing quick things, you know? Like,
yeah.
That's nothing. Once a week? But, like, going distance?
Mm-mm. They are not built for road trips, I'll tell you that. I think I saw, like, an AI version of, like, a Tesla motorhome or something. I was like, fuck no.
A motorhome?
Yeah.
Huh. All these Teslas are going to crash our grid, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
Like, especially LA. Like, there's no way that the LA grid is going to be able to support that. How will they ever do that?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't want to think about it. It just gives me anxiety.
Okay, so one time, I think it only happened once, you tried to set me up with someone.
Oh,
Which I appreciate. And from the outside perspective, before I met him, I was like, oh, he does seem like somebody that I would be into.
In all fairness, I was still getting to know this person. And in getting to know him, I was like, hey, you know what? He has a great heart.
Yeah, 100%.
Juju has a great heart. He's got a great heart. Why not? Let me just introduce them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned that he doesn't shut the fuck up.
Does not shut up, and also, like, listen, I'm perverted, I'm a child, we love to, like, talk about, but his jokes were just, like, constant, like,
Wait, are we talking about the same person?
I remember the speech.
We're not talking about the same person.
Oh, it happened twice?
I was talking about Amir.
Oh, I forgot about Amir! That's why I met Amir! Bro.
The first person I tried to set her
I
up
was
with
talking
was Evan.
I'm gonna bleep that out, but that's who I was talking about.
No, I don't. He has good art.
Well, that's why I was kind of like, well, that's weird. I don't necessarily agree with that, but okay.
I just remember that you said that you had connected with him on Raya.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I
I know this
forgot
guy. I
about
can introduce you
Amir,
guys.
though.
And then we went to that place where he debuted his not so great DJing skills.
Dude, that speech he gave was, what did he say? His mother was there. His mother was there. He said, let's fuck this club in the ass? Is that what he said? I
don't know what he said. I just remember I was like, oh.
We were also not at the club. We were at this like 40-person event.
Right.
Definitely not my type. Actually, less my type than Amir somehow.
Yeah, I was originally talking about Amir.
Yeah, that's really funny.
He does have a great heart. He just
100%.
doesn't know when to shut up.
Yes, now that I know that we're talking about Amir, still agree. Okay, so if you were to set me up with somebody, what would be like the one like warning you would give them about me? Not necessarily maybe a warning, but like a, you know, like a pointer maybe, like what would be like your advice to them maybe?
She needs her alone time and needs to recharge. And you cannot get offended if she doesn't want to do something with you.
That's good. I thought you were going to be like, she's awkward as shit, just push through it.
No, I mean, we're all weird in our respective ways. Like,
yeah.
But I do feel like you're one of my more like grounded friends. And when you need to recharge, you need to recharge, and that's that.
I 1,000% in that way, but I do feel like I could be better at communicating that because I think sometimes I just fucking disappeared and like don't text back.
And I'm a Virgo moon, and I have a tendency of doing it too. And
Yeah.
people get highly offended when I just turn my phone off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if I'm on the phone with somebody, I'm like, I'm done talking. I gotta go, and then I'll just turn my phone off.
But also, how crazy is it that we live in a time where like it's unacceptable to turn our phone off?
Right.
Like 20 years ago, we didn't even have fucking cell phones. I mean, we did. 20 years is dramatic, but whatever. 40 years ago, like, and now all of a sudden it's unacceptable to turn it off. And it's also like, especially with work, I feel like so hard to draw, at least for me, like boundaries.
Yeah, and I think it's worse for women.
Well, we don't want to sound complainy or bitchy. We don't want to
sound like we're being bitchy.
Yeah.
We're like constantly like looked at like under a microscope.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time my sock goes off, it like triggers my anxiety.
Yeah. I also don't want to be like, hey, I think I just like want a day to myself today, and the person to respond with, oh, are you on your period?
Yeah. Are you mad at me? No, I need to recharge.
Yeah. No, it's actually not about you. So crazy. My life is not actually about you. It's wild.
There's literally only one person that I like to be around every day, all the time, and that's Larry.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he actually understands like how I operate as a human being. And outside of that, like, I can't even be around like my parents all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
parents are the hardest to be around all the time. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Parents are impossible.
But that's also how I realized that like Larry was my perfect match, because it was like, you actually don't irritate me.
That's a big thing though.
Yeah.
But when that's also false though, because I'm sure he does irritate you.
I mean, he irritates me sometimes, and he gets moody, but we all get moody.
But does he realize it and then like knows when to just walk away?
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good.
And he's like taken the time to like learn me to the point where it's like he knows when I am about to get moody.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows to give me my space.
Yeah, that's really good. I feel like a lot of times partners, like especially when it comes to arguments, like want to argue the way that they argue, but they need to like step back and realize that like everybody communicates differently and like needs different things, especially in arguments. Like,
yeah. I'm a terrible communicator sometimes. Like,
you are.
I communicate when I want to communicate, but if I'm not in the mood to communicate, you better be able to read my face.
And sometimes you communicate in like half sentences, which gets very confusing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, I'm supposed to show up to this event and I don't actually have any idea what's going on, but here I go. Yeah. Heard. So you and Larry have known each other for a long time before you started dating, right? How long? Like, how long have you known him?
I'm gonna be 37. I met Larry when I was like 24.
So like, what's the math on that? 13 years, 15 years-ish.
Yeah. He just came up on my like popular page or whatever it was at the time on Instagram.
Wait, really?
Yeah. He just like popped up on my popular page, and I was like, he's cute. And I liked a picture, and then he followed me, and I followed him back.
Wow, that's hilarious. We were just talking shit on phones, and then that's how you connected.
Yeah, my Instagram.
I love that though. But I feel like you guys were like kind of just friends for a long time.
Yeah, we were definitely friends before like anything physical started happening.
But he was also like playing basketball at that time, traveling overseas.
Ordering weed from me. I was his dealer.
Nice. Athletes, I think it's insane that I mean, it's obviously changing now, but like athletes not being able to consume cannabis, like for muscle recovery and pain, and like athletes need that.
Yeah.
They need it more than some of us, for sure.
I think it's awesome that like a lot of the regulations have changed, especially like testing in like the NBA, the NHL, and the NFL too. I don't think baseball's testing anymore either. I'm not sure about like soccer and stuff.
Yeah.
But
It's definitely all changing though,
Yeah.
which is so awesome. Also, like, not that I personally feel like cannabis makes me powerful, but like it doesn't actually. Like, what is the actual threat of that plant on an
world
athlete?
peace. That's the threat. World peace. People are afraid
Yeah.
of people being too peaceful,
Mm-hmm.
and pharmaceutical companies
And not
making
needing their
enough money.
prescriptions,
Yeah.
that they don't actually need,
Yeah.
that are actually just making them sicker slowly and more dependent on it.
Yeah.
And then they need something else to counteract the thing that the first thing gave them.
If you think about it, if everyone in the world smoked, there would be no problems.
Yeah. Well, I think some people shouldn't smoke.
Yeah, I'm sure
Not
there's
shouldn't,
definitely
but
some
like-
people that shouldn't smoke or
Yeah.
should like know like when to stop or,
Yeah.
or whatever. But realistically, like
Yeah. But I completely agree.
I don't think we would have half the issues that we have in the world if people fucking took a few hits
Yeah.
of weed.
Only clean weed.
Yeah. Not laced with anything.
I completely agree, and I also, for me also, it is such like a creative. It's something that really helps with my creative process.
Yeah.
It allows me to like. I feel like my brain on a normal day is like. And then when I like smoke, my thoughts are able to like go in a line. I'm able to be like, okay, this is most important. This, and I can like really, I don't know, focus in and like I don't know. It puts my brain in
It
order.
definitely helps with my anxiety a lot.
100%.
I know a lot of people say like, oh, smoking gives me anxiety. It's like, no, not smoking gives me anxiety.
Yeah, same. But also, the weed, if weed's giving you anxiety, it's
Try a different strain.
Yeah, 100%.
Figure out what terpene profile, what cannabinoids your body can handle and need.
Yeah. Because I definitely have had a smoke before and been like, oh, that's not for me.
Yeah.
That does make my heart beat a little bit.
Yeah.
But then it's just not the strain for me. There's so many.
I know you're not really into like the lemony stuff.
Well, you're a little sativa diva, and I'm more of a indica. I'm like,
Indica couch.
I know, but that's what like sativa diva.
It's
indica.
all fucking a facade anyway.
Well, it's all mixed type. Like
Yeah.
nothing is.
Nothing is
Yeah.
what it is anymore. Everything's
At
a
all.
hybrid unless you like
Yeah.
go to like the Alps of like who knows where and
Right.
get it from like some monk. They've
That would
been
be
growing this
cool.
weed for centuries.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love to like
That would
climb
actually be really cool.
to the top of a mountain and stumble upon a monk who has weed for me
Yeah.
and knowledge.
Yeah, I would
That'd
like
be
to do
cool.
that too.
You haven't ever done ayahuasca, have you?
I mean, not like in a cave with like a shaman or anything. I've definitely done like DMT.
But that's different. It's the same.
It's different. But
Okay. DMT comes from frog
You
secretion,
can
right?
literally grow DMT.
It's a plant?
You can grow DMT.
What does it grow like?
I mean, I've never successfully done it, but I
Yeah.
definitely have.
Don't get me excited, you know me. I like a challenge, a growing challenge.
I have like a little Bible, if you will, of how to grow it.
Interesting.
I've never like fully done it, but you might actually be the right person to do this with.
I would want.
Now that
I
I
would
think
read
about
through
it.
your Bible first and then decide
Yeah.
because I also would not want to do it if I wasn't sure that I could do it correctly because that's
Yeah.
like I wouldn't want to fuck around with that.
The only like good thing is if we did fuck up, the high only lasts like a minute, even though it feels like a century.
So is it like leaves? How do you consume it?
You vaporize it.
Vaporize it? Could you like
Put it in a
put it
volcano.
in a tea also?
Or you put it in
Yeah.
tea.
Interesting.
I've never done it that way. I did it in a volcano.
Got it. I like want to do ayahuasca, but
Yeah, I would be down. Our awesome friend who didn't charge his Tesla that we went to Mexico with went to Peru and did ayahuasca in like the forest,
yeah,
in the
that
jungle.
that's where I would want to do it for sure. Like definitely with somebody who's been doing that like process for decades, like somebody that's really about like their shit.
Yeah.
I love
Chelsea
that.
Handler has this like series on Netflix. It's a couple years old now. And it's all about like her journey with drugs.
Mm.
And I think it's like only like 4 or 5 episodes or whatever. But like one of the episodes, she literally goes and does ayahuasca with a shaman in the middle of fucking nowhere.
That's sick.
And the whole like thing is documented. It's like the craziest thing I've ever watched.
I'll have to watch it. I don't know how I didn't see that.
Shout
I love
out
Chelsea
Chelsea
Handler. I love
Yeah,
her.
I love her too. I am convinced that she was supposed to be my best friend.
I mean, there's still plenty of time. What do you
I know.
mean was supposed to?
I know, and she smokes weed, so.
What up, Chelsea? What up,
Hey, Chelsea!
We like fucking, we like drugs, just like you.
And we hate Trump.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know why I went in that voice.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. That one might scare her.
Have you seen, did you watch Zac Efron's series where he goes to like different countries with a shaman?
I think I saw a couple episodes, but to be honest with you, like, I never really watched TV.
Yeah,
The
I
most
noticed.
TV I've watched recently is because of Larry.
Yeah.
Outside of that, like, I never turn the TV on.
Well, you should watch it because I think you would actually like it. It's super cool. It's like every episode is about a different facet of conservation.
Yeah, I definitely have seen like a couple
Yeah.
episodes. I don't think I've seen all of them.
It's good. Super good.
Don't check it out.
Yeah. Earthy shit.
I just missed the lockdown because 80% of it was spent in your pool.
Yeah, honestly, I thrived during COVID because I also was still working.
Me too.
Like,
Me too.
yeah, I mean,
We both were working.
yeah.
We both were like in the sun every day, and
Yeah.
we both were cooking.
Mm-hmm. It was incredible. I had a great time.
COVID made our friendship flourish.
Yeah, I miss that house also. I wish that
Yeah.
house was like, it was just old and dingy, but the
And
backyard
creepy.
was so. I had a house in North Hollywood with like a real backyard.
Yeah.
Not like an LA backyard, like.
It didn't have grass, but
Yeah,
it had
that's
a
true.
pool that was
Yeah.
amazing.
But if I had stayed in that house for years, remember that little area over around that was like dirty? That would have been an incredible garden.
Yeah, we should have done it.
But the house was just falling apart.
I don't even think that house was insulated.
No, it wasn't. I can tell you, I went through the winter. It was not insulated, and then the summers were so hot.
You also had
It
a
was, like,
window in your closet, which was very bizarre.
an open window, like a non-closable window that I asked to be replaced multiple times.
I don't know how you didn't get bit by spiders and shit.
I probably did. I get bit by skeeters so much that I'd wake up. Skaters. You know what a skater is? Mosquito? Y'all might call them mosquitoes out here. We call them skeeters back home.
Skeeters out here is like skeet, skeet, skeet.
That too.
You getting bit by skeeters? Oh man.
I was Googling you
Oh shit.
because I feel like I know you pretty well, but I was like, I don't know, there's gotta be something about her, I don't know. I was like what I was trying to do was try to find some high school dirt, and I found none.
Yeah, the internet didn't exist.
But I did find that you did like a Halloween special for Hugh Hefner for the Playboy Mansion.
Oh yeah.
It's on your IMDb.
Oh.
And I was trying to like find the actual footage of it, but I couldn't find it. But it was like Hugh Hefner's Playboy presents Halloween Spectacular. And you're on there apparently.
I, in my like prime of like my early 20s, did some modeling. I never did Playboy, like I never did like totally nude anything, but I did like burlesque and like whatever, where I was like covered with whatever pasties and whatnot. And I got invited to the Playboy Mansion one year, and for whatever reason, that like 1 year has been like stapled to my name.
No, that's sick because it's sick and I'm jealous. Wait, so you were at the actual Playboy Mansion?
I got invited to the Halloween party one year.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was pretty cool.
I
hung out
heard
with
that
Jenny
they take
McCarthy.
Polaroid pictures of everybody. Maybe they changed it, but they used to back in the day would take like a picture of every single person that walked in, and then Hugh later would like rate those people and then decide if they got to come back again.
I don't know about all that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy. I probably was the most dressed there. I was 19,
Wow.
and I went by myself.
You love Halloween though.
I love Halloween. I was a kid.
Did you love Halloween
year.
that much back then?
Yeah.
That's kind of like perfect that that's like your one.
Yeah. So if he was rating people, he couldn't tell who the fuck I was or what I looked
What
like.
did you dress up as?
I was literally like a Catwoman.
Like a mask?
The full like cat, like leather outfit.
That's sick.
Mm-hmm.
The Playboy Mansion is legendary.
Iconic.
Like, it sucks because growing up, I now realize that shit's fucked up. But it still is like such a legendary part of history for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, it's still iconic. Is that fucked up? That I think it's still iconic, but I know that it's really fucked up?
No, I mean, it's a part of history if you think about it. I mean,
yeah.
It's also cool to think about like the evolution of women.
Facts.
And he played an integral part of it. I mean, granted, women were just naked.
But I think he did like open up sexuality a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like made it more socially acceptable.
I mean, when I was younger, you can even say like the word sex in front of an adult. Now it's like billboards say the word sex.
Yeah. And it's weird because I do feel like women are still, like you were saying earlier, like under such a microscope, but I do feel like we're more empowered than ever, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can wear whatever the fuck we want.
I feel like Playboy set the stage for what, you know how they say, like, they crawled so you can run. It's like, they crawled so we can have OnlyFans now.
Yeah, Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret was after, like, when was Victoria's Secret founded? Because I also feel like that was set, like, they were kind of like a, you also know that's owned by like a fucking white man.
Yeah.
That's what's been picking out my undies all these years.
I stopped wearing Victoria's Secret a while ago.
Me too, but, well, I know. I have some underwear. Where do you get good underwear? I was literally...
Target.
That's where you get yours?
100% cotton.
I was looking at my underwear drawer the other day and I was like, I want a refresher. And then I was like, where do I even get comfortable underwear that I like?
Target.
Target. Fuck it.
I feel like all of like the fancy like French, like laundry, like you can't wear that shit every day.
Yeah, I feel like when I was younger, like I was just thinking that like in high school, like I thought that like I had to have like a sexy panty on every day. Like no. Get a black 5-pack of something that's really comfortable for you.
Literally.
Yeah, and then you have those couple pairs that you put on when you want to feel real sexy.
And make sure they're fucking cotton, or you're asking to get a yeast infection or something.
I think silk is like a really bad misconception with like undergarments.
Like, I feel like I would get like really sweaty or something.
Yeah, but like they say that's a thing that like silk is nice, right? And so like a silk panty is like supposed to be nicer. No, you need like the 3-layer cotton.
Yeah, I don't know if I could sit in silk all day long. You're supposed to like let your vagina breathe.
I honestly don't really wear underwear unless I'm like
that part.
I mean, when I leave the house, but like even I do today, but like in sweatpants, I'll leave the house without underwear on. Like, I'm not wearing underwear. I'm not wearing a bra. Like, nah.
Anytime I can get away without wearing a bra, best believe.
Yeah, well,
I'm free balling.
Topic, because another thing I don't understand is bleaching buttholes.
Okay.
I feel like, do you know why people do it?
I remember one day I was on shrooms. And I don't know why, but I think like that Kanye song was on where he like says yeah. And I was like singing it, and like while on shrooms, I like was like, I've never bleached my asshole. I imagine that would hurt. I went off into this whole like paradox about like what it would be like to actually bleach your asshole.
It's gotta burn, right?
And how they do it, because I'm like, do you just like spread your cheeks and like sit in like some sort of bleach? They like inject your butthole with something?
Oh no, I'm picturing you being like on all fours, and it's like being painted on, right?
I don't know.
That's how I picture it. Like you're on a table, and they're like maybe one person spreading your cheeks, and other person's like it's like a paste. You know, did you ever like try to bleach your
Like
mustache?
Like, like the nair.
Nair, yeah.
I don't know. I clearly have never tried it.
But why do people do it? Do you know that? Because I genuinely do not. Like, is it just an aesthetic thing? Like, is
probably. I mean, it's probably for like, I'm sure like the porn stars do it, so like it looks better on camera. I don't know. I
just
really
aesthetics.
Know. Yeah,
So
and then like out of the blue, after my mind went through this like whole paradox of questions about bleaching my own butthole, I finally said out loud, "Should I bleach my butthole?" And he was like, "What?" You've been quiet for 25 minutes. That's the first thing that came out of your mouth. He was like, I don't think you should do that. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to, but like, would you want me to bleach my butthole? And he was like, I don't know if I have a preference.
Like, I'm just picturing like taking somebody's clothes off and you throw them on their stomach and you're like, oh yeah, that's so hot, your asshole's bleached. Like, what?
And then like, what happens if like the bleach like gets too bleachy and then your asshole's lighter than the rest of your body?
Right, because you're gonna get a tan in the summer.
I don't know.
I do. Also, what part are they bleaching? Because there's like the skin around, that's a color, and then like your butthole is a different color. You'll see when you check your butt tonight. I realized this recently when I checked mine. It's like the skin's a different color than the little, Which part are they bleaching? But anyway, so let's talk about KK a little bit. How did you end up there?
How did I end up there? I got a phone call from their CEO a little over a year ago.
Okay.
And actually, it was definitely more than a year ago, but I wasn't like ready to jump ship from where I was.
Okay.
And also, I don't think they were ready for me either, like just like financially and just overall like structure and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then a little over a year went by, and I got a text message saying, hey, this position is open, and we think you'd be great for it. Like, are you down to interview? I'm like, sure, why not? Different times.
Yeah.
No more COVID, wanting a little bit more stability, even though being in the pool every day was great.
Yeah.
And I interviewed. I actually did my first interview like over the phone, and then my second interview I did it while I was in the Bahamas.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and I got hired.
Hell yeah.
And I started like May of this year.
Love that.
Yeah, so I've been there for about 6 months. It's
I
great.
think it's like something they don't tell us in college, or at least they didn't tell me in college, is that like it's so much more important who you know. Like,
oh yeah,
like you said, like you didn't go out and like find this job listing and then like apply for this job. Like networking and building a community in like your job space that you want to be in, like will make people just call you out of the blue and be like, I want you to work for me.
Yeah, I mean, also your network is definitely your net worth.
Mm-hmm.
And people think that like, oh, cannabis is like legal in so many places, like anybody can get a job in weed, but like I said, like if you don't really come from weed, like don't be in weed.
Yeah.
Unless you're like willing to learn and actually like give a damn about the plant. And me being involved with weed since I was literally 20 years old, from making my own edibles to having my own delivery service to, helping Viola become what they were or are. Yeah. And then like my transition to KK is just, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Now I work for one of the biggest rock stars in the world. Yeah. And who's known for just smoking everywhere and anywhere. And
we're also talking about Khalifa Kush. I just realized we never said that out loud. We keep going, KK.
KK.
I also think Mr. Caps is such a cool add-on to that job, and so just like fits you so perfectly.
That's actually like that was one of like the deciding factors for me when they were, you know, offering me the position. They're like, this is happening and this is happening. There's a couple different like variables that came with more than just the marketing role for Clayba Kush, and it just fit, like everything lined up perfectly.
Yeah. Had they launched the mushrooms? When did? So they hadn't launched yet, but you were interviewing and they were like, this is something we're going to launch and we want you to be like a part of it? Like on that.
It's not like my...
Yeah, do you work for them at all, I guess? I don't know.
I definitely have like an input for specific things here and there, but like it's not my like day-to-day.
Yeah.
My day-to-day is Clayba Kush.
Right.
Like how are we going to market this weed, sell this weed, you know, tell the story, let the world know who we are, what we do.
So are you still doing like flower selection, or not? You're just focusing more on the marketing side?
So Wiz picks out all the flower.
Wow.
Yes.
Every time.
Very hands-on with the flower.
Interesting. That's cool.
We get to like try things, you know. We only have 3 strains right now. Okay. The 3rd edition launched when I came on board. It's the Violet Sky. It's actually my favorite one out of the 3. Okay. We have...
That's the one you brought me, right? Yeah, I really liked that. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. She's this like dark purple, super frosty. Smells like a combination of like berries and gas. It's like just she's delightful. And then there's KK, which is more of like your standard OG, but with like an uplifting cerebral effect. Kind of smells a little bit like lemon. Yeah. And then there's Khalifa Mints, which is the first ever cross for KK, like from KK. Everything is derived from KK. Okay. So you have your own growers, your own like cultivation. That's super cool. Yeah, we don't sort. There's no sourcing. Everything is in house.
Which most people don't even realize that so many cannabis brands do that. Yeah. Like, I think a lot of people think like, oh, they think that most companies run the way that that's running, and that like, yeah. That's awesome though, because then you actually have so much more quality control.
Definitely quality control, like unbelievable quality control. Yeah. You know, we're perfectionists at our craft, and a lot of people just think like, oh, it's rapper weed, like Wiz Khalifa just. They don't realize that like he literally only smokes his weed. He does not smoke anything else. Like he'll sample things here and there, but like he's smoking his weed every single time, and it's because of the quality.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's also like you don't need to launch your brand and have 12 different strains. Like have 3 that are incredible and that again, quality control. Even like the same with like, not to get off topic, but like a restaurant. Like anytime I go into a restaurant and there's 100 things on the menu, I'm concerned.
Like, except for Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. But for the most part, like having a bigger menu doesn't make for better business at all.
At all.
At all.
None of our stuff is like sprayed. It's like we test generally in like the 30 range, high 20s.
Yeah, that's high.
To mid 30s.
You're talking
strain.
THC level?
Yeah. Yeah. Our terps are real.
I forgot about that Violet Sky. That was really good. I smoked it too fast.
Yeah, the Violet Sky is like my favorite.
I gotta stop smoking blunts. I just go through weed so fast.
Yeah, and you can't really taste the weed.
I can though, because I don't even take. Well, yeah, but that's my nicotine addiction there. Like,
we gotta get you off that.
I quit. Well, I've mostly quit vapes, so it's a step.
Good.
I can't. I think if I cut all of that, like, I don't think I could do that. Nicotine and blunt. And I've been drinking so much less coffee, which is so hard for me. I've been doing more tea, and it's just like, I'm just addicted. It's my worst. Those are my worst 2 habits by far. Nicotine and caffeine. Only coffee though, like not any other caffeinated drinks, just black coffee.
Yeah, let's get you off that.
And I think it's...
Have you tried mushroom coffee?
Yes, I tried a couple brands actually because I was trying to find one. But again, it just I know it's mostly mental too, which is annoying because I'm mentally very tough, but coffee is one of those things. The nicotine, I'm like, I'll get it. That I'm like, I'm on my way out with it.
They used to use, I don't know if they still do, I'm sure they do, but they use coffee in the military as like to like get things out of people. It's like
a torture mechanism?
Yes.
Tell me more. Why? How? What?
Because like you can control people once you get them addicted to it.
That's true.
So you're being controlled.
But also I am aware of that. I am aware.
Yeah. But I gotta get you off that. I've never had a cup of coffee.
Ever in your life?
Not once.
See, I think that.
But it's because I've done enough reading to know that like you shouldn't even drink coffee.
Yeah. Well, my parents had a coffee farm. Like I was very much into the culture of coffee when I was younger. Like my parents weren't even like that big of coffee drinkers, I think, until they got the farm. Like then it became part of the culture. I don't know. Like it was just always not as addictive. Being in the restaurant business too, like my mom fucking cooked for 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so like coffee was always flowing. So back to cancer.
I can laugh because I had it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can laugh because I think you think it's funny. I didn't though, which is so crazy. I didn't know you.
You did.
Well, I was at the very end of it.
Yeah.
I was like, you had been in recovery when I met you. Were technically in recovery, I think.
I was.
When I met you.
Yeah, pretty much in recovery from the second go around when I had already like dove straight headfirst into alkalinity.
Yeah. Also, you talk about it all the time, and I'm sure it gets annoying, but I feel like what people don't realize is that like you went to the doctors a lot of times before you got your diagnosis, and you were sick for a long time, and I felt like you kept getting just like pushed off.
Yeah, I was misdiagnosed for a little over a year.
Which is insane.
They told me I had strep throat. They told me I had mono. They told me I had bronchitis. Yeah. They kept just giving me like different antibiotics and shit.
Did you have health care?
I did.
You did? And so you were going to like legit places?
Yeah.
Really?
I actually, the day that I pretty much really realized something was like horrifically wrong. It was Thanksgiving and I sneezed like right after I got out of the shower. Everything was like steamy in the bathroom and I sneezed, and when I like looked up, there was just like blood like across like the bathroom counter on the mirror, and like blood was like coming out of my mouth, and I knew like it literally felt like I got stabbed in the throat. I was like, no. Like,
insane.
I went to Cedars-Sinai emergency room.
Okay.
And the lady was like feeling on my neck. She's like, "Oh, it just seems like you have a really bad case of strep throat." And I barely had a voice at that point. Like my voice was just changing constantly.
Yeah.
That like whole year, couple months-ish. It was almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I'm just gonna give you a steroid shot." And she put a fucking needle in my neck and like injected me with this steroid and tried to send me home. And I was like, no, like, I want an x-ray. I was like trying to like yell, but like my voice like didn't project at all.
Were you by yourself?
I was by myself because my friend was like trying to find parking.
Okay.
Milano, he picked me up and took me to the emergency room. But because I kept like demanding, finally at that point, I went in for an x-ray, and the x-ray tech came out from the back and was like, "I can lose my job for this. I'm not supposed to say this to you, but you need to go see a specialist immediately, regardless of what they tell you."
Which is wild.
That was the Thursday of Thanksgiving. Everything was closed, so I spent the entire weekend Googling. Like,
and what did they tell you, though? After the tech came in and told you that, what did they tell you after?
She told me I had fucking strep throat and tried to send me home with antibiotics.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like I remember you telling me that you felt like they were kind of pushing you off because you were working in nightlife.
Yeah.
So they were just like, oh, this girl's partying too much. She's got strep throat.
Yeah.
Continuously, which is wild. They were just judging.
Yep.
Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
And like, how many 28-year-olds, come into the hospital and it's like the first thing a doctor thinks is, you have cancer.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I like Googled all weekend. Like, I didn't even know what an ENT was. And the x-ray tech was like, go see an ENT. Like,
goes home. What is an ENT?
Literally, that was the first. Yeah. Not even on the way home, I was like Googling what an ENT is, which is an ear, nose, and throat specialist, if you don't know.
Okay.
And in the state of California, we actually have the #1 rated ENT in the world.
Super cool.
His name is Dr. Larian. And I called his office Monday morning because everything was closed all weekend. And I got an appointment for the following week as like a consultation. Didn't take my insurance. It was just $100 to just literally walk into his office. It's in Beverly Hills. And I didn't care at that point because I was just like,
something is fucking wrong.
Something is like wrong. Right. So he put a camera down my throat and he was like, oh, it looks like a polyp. Okay. Which is just like, people get polyps.
Kind of like a mass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because he didn't think it was like too alarming at that point, he scheduled for a biopsy. Mind you, this is November, like 27th or 28th now, which ironically, I was actually supposed to fly out and meet Larry in Monaco that week.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And that trip ended up being canceled. Look at like timing, right?
Whoa. The universe wasn't ready for y'all.
I don't think he was ready, and the universe knew it. I probably also wasn't ready. In hindsight, like.
No, you weren't.
And plus, I probably would have like came back from that trip knocked up.
Then everything would have changed. Shit.
Yeah, first time somebody flying me out. Like, come on, Monica.
Yeah, rookie mistake.
Right. Well,
come on.
Anyway, that trip didn't happen. I ended up in the hospital instead. But if I didn't end up in the hospital that weekend, like I wouldn't be who I am today.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to educate people on, health, wellness, what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating.
Right. So basically,
loss.
Long story short, you ended up with a tumor in your throat.
Yeah. So they scheduled for my biopsy. It was originally scheduled the weekend of my birthday in January. And I was like, I don't want to have surgery the weekend of my birthday. I'm fucking 27, 28 years old. Like, I'm trying to rage. Like, what the fuck? So they rescheduled surgery, and it happened to be Super Bowl weekend, and I had tickets.
Wow.
So it was like,
tickets to the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna fucking miss the Super Bowl? What the fuck?
Yeah.
So I rescheduled and ended up having surgery the week of Valentine's weekend because I was like, I don't give a fuck about Valentine's Day. It's made up Hallmark holiday.
Right.
But I knew that having surgery, they told me I wasn't going to be able to talk for at least a week, which is also why I was like, definitely not doing it on my birthday.
Yeah.
Definitely not doing it on Super Bowl. So I did the surgery, and by that point, the mass had gotten so big that they couldn't remove it. So he just like cut a piece of it off. Had they taken out the whole thing, I would never be able to talk again.
Yeah, it would have damaged like
they would have like taken out my entire vocal box.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And mind you, we just kept pushing it back because it was like, oh, it's a polyp. Like, I'm not fucking thinking cancer. Like,
yeah, I'm sure technology has maybe changed since then, but there's not a way to do without surgery, like a biopsy. Like, he couldn't have taken the microscope and took a little.
Because of where it was and like airways, like it was here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went back in a week later. He told me I could not remove the whole thing, and I actually sent a piece of it to the lab, and you're being diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Crazy. And to finish it off strong, I have now lost main camera. I didn't want to fully end the conversation at that point because we did talk longer, so the last couple minutes are without video, but if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm learning, okay?
I drove myself to that appointment. I drove myself home from that appointment.
Probably because you probably weren't were you ever at any point thinking like cancer?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody my age with cancer.
Right.
Cancer was like a 50+ year old disease, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not. In fact, after I got diagnosed, I really started paying attention to like the numbers and like how old people are. And if you look at different just statistics from when I was 27 and now I'm gonna be 37 next year, the ages are dropping. It's getting younger and younger and younger. I know more people with cancer now that are like between 20 to my age than I do older.
Yeah. Well, we're giving it to ourselves.
It's in the food.
Yeah. It's in
food, stress, air.
Crazy. Super crazy. I think, there's definitely a big misconception that cancer is like such a genetic thing.
Cancer is not genetic.
Yeah.
The only reason why it's considered genetic these days, at least to me, is because when you grow up in a certain lifestyle and you're eating what your parents were eating and these traditions are being passed down to you, it's inevitable.
Right.
And food is not the same as it was when our parents were younger, or when their parents were younger and whatnot. Like meat is not even meat anymore.
Literally though. For real though. Yeah.
Vegetables are not the same as they were before. Corn isn't even real.
Yeah. Most of most of genetic things, like you're saying, aren't actually your genetics. It's just that you behave in the same environment in the same way as your family.
Exactly.
This is it. Thank you so much for sitting here with me. Love ya. Appreciate ya.
I enjoyed this. I hope that this takes off for you, and I'm sure that it will. I know that anything you apply yourself to, you are a perfectionist, the Virgo in you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you're putting yourself in front of the camera and you're not just staying behind.
It's so hard. I
love it.
I don't know why I was like, I hate being in front of the camera, so I'll make a podcast. I'm bad with words and hate being in front of the camera, so let's make a podcast.
You're beautiful inside and out. You deserve to be behind the camera, in front of the camera, on the camera, whatever you want to do. I fully support it.
I just love having conversations with my friends. That's really what it is.
This was fun.
Yeah.